as he gently walks into the shot. Hello everyone, back from traveling around. Mate talk time. I don't have a mate in front of me because I want to keep this as a short mate talk. Let's see how we go. But back in the office, for those who've been following the journey, was obviously we did the KM fragrance tour, 9-day tour through Italy, and then we went to Cannes for meetings and things of that nature. And during that time, we announced the release of a brand new brand that Kevin and I have created called Olfactive Traveler. So today, what I wanted to do was just focus on Olfactive Traveler. Now that obviously the productions, if you've missed them, here they are, 5 different productions. They were very formatted, you know, they were very detailed in the way that we wanted to sort of deliver this message. Today, I'm gonna just ad-lib as we move through, and I'm gonna share some additional insights onto what all this is about. Now, the only announcement I wanna say is that in the next Mate Talk in the coming week, I will be talking about a lot of the new stuff that's come out in Cannes. Came back with a suitcase full of new fragrances. Some are incredible new releases, but I will share more on that next week. Today, what I really wanted to do, because 10/10 is, well, today is Tuesday, and this video will go out on Thursday. So it'll be, you know, a day or so apart from the big release. And I wanted to answer some questions that have been coming through to me and make sure that everybody's ready for the big 10/10 release, which we're super excited, I mean, as you can imagine. Let me begin with, all right, let me begin, so many, actually this is take 2, by the way, because I want to keep it somewhat compact, but at the same time, I've got so many things that I want to share with everybody, because it's been such an incredible journey to this moment in time. The backstory on all this is last year doing the France fragrance tour, and I did mention for those who have seen that production that we had a person reach out and said, look, we want to join, but we were like, well, you can't. Not because we didn't want them there, it's just that these are meant to be small group. And that really started the snowball to rolling down this hill, thinking about what could we do to, you know, have everyone be part of this experience, whether you're present or whether you can do it through another format. Olfactive Traveler was born very naturally as a name. And it's something that both Kevin and I love doing. I always talk about, I love traveling to a location and either taking a perfume with me to lock that into my memory of that place. I also talk about how certain places have a smell. There's something in the air that represents them. So Olfactive Traveler as a name just materialized really, really beautifully. Actually, the full story on that, how did it come about, is we're trying to think of, we had so many names, as one does, you know, you're writing all these different names. And one morning I woke up and I'm just sort of lying in bed, you know, sort of waking up, and you know, oh, the name, what could the name of this perfume brand be? And all of a sudden I actually saw an O, this is a visual, I saw an O and the T. And think of it like a Superman thing. So the O was round and the T was in the middle. And I'm like, oh, T. I'm like, that's pretty cool. What is that? And then I'm like, oh, Olfactive Traveler. And boom, that sort of materialized. And the name is perfect. The name is just on point. Today, what I want to share is also the journey that we had, Kevin and I, with LUCA MAFFEI. So I can't stress enough how integral LUCA was in creating these fragrances. There was no one else. So one thing that we did do from the very beginning was there was an exit door, and at the whole step of the way, Kevin and I, because I feel like my name is going to be attached to this, my name is going to be attached to this. I did not want to bring to life something that I would never be proud of myself. Does that, you know what I mean? That because I'm attaching my name to this had to be just, in my eyes, just perfect. Now I realize it may not be for everybody, but to my eyes, it had to be absolute perfect. And so Kevin felt the same way. And so we always felt that if things weren't working correctly, that we were going to just walk through an exit door and say, look, not for now, maybe in time, but if it didn't work out, then we wouldn't do it. And one of the non-negotiables was that we wanted LUCA MAFFEI. I had, for those who have been following my journey on NFC, know that I filmed with him and I really connected as friends, as humans, and really like his style. I've loved his perfumes for a very long time. I have spoken about LUCA MAFFEI's fragrances for quite some time now. And I love the way that he creates fragrance as a storytelling method. So for me, if we couldn't get LUCA, then I just couldn't think of anyone else. And this is not to say there are not other beautiful Italian perfumers, but I resonated with LUCA, I connected with him, and I really wanted him to be part of this journey. I'm so grateful that LUCA did actually make time for us. He was super busy. I mean, at one stage, I really thought it wasn't going to happen. He got pulled away in all sorts of different directions. He even mentioned to us that he was going to be like not available, but in the end, everything worked out so beautifully. So what I wanted to do today is share a little bit more about each of the fragrances and my wearing experience. I've been, just to give you an idea, and this is only a few, but and he breaks one of them. So these are all, so whenever we would do notes to LUCA MAFFEI, he would then send us new iterations. So you can see this one here has been hit pretty hard. Same with this guy here, but we had, I mean, I don't want to give you the number, but there were a lot of iterations that we had. I mean, we tweak this, move that. Go even in some cases, for those who watch the video, we did complete restarts going, this is not going the direction we want. And so we had to sort of go back to square one and begin the process one more time. As I said, at all stages of the game, we're going, if it's not, and I would say to Kevin, if it's not working, I'm out, because I'm not putting my name against something that I don't feel absolutely confident and really fall in love with. Can I just say that I am gloriously in love with these fragrances. I wore Dolce Milano when I went to Milan. I even sent a message to Kevin, and I'm like, I didn't have it on me, but as soon as I stepped into that Duomo area, I could smell Dolce Milano. It was, imagined or real, but I could smell the elements of Dolce Milano with seeing the Duomo in the distance. So today I've got all three fragrances on me. I'm going to go through a little bit of a breakdown just to give you a better idea, being that 10/10 is a day away or so, and then also mention to you guys of the special offer. Now, we've been saying this all along, so if you haven't jumped onto our website, go to olfactivetravel.com. There you'll see that you have a chance to sign up. If you put your email address to that, you'll then get an email. That email will have a special code. That code will allow you the chance to receive free delivery anywhere across the world, plus you'll get a gift with purchase. And I can announce that the gift with purchase will be the traveler set, and I'll tell you more shortly about that. That's worth $160, and I'll tell you what it is because it's a beautiful item that's been created. So Dolce Milano. Now this one here, some questions that I've been asked is, how does it compare to Panettone by Milano Fragranza Milano, this one. And the point is that these are two separate fragrances. We did not want to create a dessert fragrance. We didn't want to create, I mean, right now dessert fragrances are very trendy and something that is very popular. We wanted to create something that 7, 10, 15 years from now that someone can spray and go, wow, what a beautiful gourmand. So it's the really core of it is it's a woody gourmand fragrance. There is a sweetness in there, but it's not dessert-like. So it's not overtly vanilla and sweet and brown sugars and things of that nature. There is the classic elements that you would find in a panettone, such as the dried fruits, the orange zest, bit of vanilla. There is like a slight cake-like effect, or that pastry thing, but it's all very subdued and pulled back. There's nothing in it that really exaggerates itself when it comes to anything sweet or dessert-like. What we did do is, in sharing with two groups of people, one were our Melbourne-based friends who were helpful throughout the journey as we brought these fragrances to life. They actually helped us. One thing that we said to them as we were testing, you know, we would get to a point where we're like, we really like this one, but now how do other people feel about it? So we would invite these individuals to smell and experience, and we would say to them, be brutally honest, even to the point, hurt our feelings. Tell us if this is no good, because we need to understand what are we missing, or, you know, get outside of our own echo chamber. So the feedback that once we've now released the fragrances, for those who may have missed that video, here it is here. This is where we revealed everything. And this coming Sunday is another video coming out. We had a chance to, we invited a number of friends who were on the Essence tour in Milan in February. We actually gave them a sneak peek of one of the fragrances. And we invited them to join us in Rome. We didn't tell them that we actually had the final fragrance, but I think they had a suspicion that something was cooking. 7 of these beautiful people came across, again, from all parts of Europe. And we shared with them the full reveal of all things olfactive travelers. So that video is coming out this Sunday. And you'll get to hear their first reactions. Now, what we asked each of these individuals is send us give us a bit of feedback. I'm obviously going to say that the fragrances are beautiful, in which they are, but it's better to hear, well, not better, but it's good to hear away from the brand owner, because the brand owner will always tell you that stuff is, because I mean, we've put a lot of blood, sweat, and energy into this baby. So I wanted to now get their perspective. You know, what's their experience with the fragrance? These are the things that have come back when it comes to Dolce & Milano. So Mohammed, here's his comment here. And the key point that I want to draw out is exactly what I was saying before, that it is, and he wrote, that it is a sweetness moderate. I think I wrote here, yeah. So the sweetness in it has been pulled back. It's not over the top. The woody nature, that sandalwood that's in the base, and that sort of creaminess that comes through from that woody aspect of the fragrance really presents itself. Somewhat early, but then on that dry down, you are getting that beautiful sandalwood creaminess, or that powderiness coming through. I love that Luc, Luc is my French professor who helps me with my incredible French pronunciations. And I love that he mentioned that it has a youthful, energetic entry to the fragrance, and it does. Those zesty orange, that liveliness of the fragrance on that beginning is very ensnaring. For me, this is for those people who are new to niche perfumery, this is a wonderful, so new recruits. And again, we built this with this in mind. We wanted something that a new recruit can easily understand, appreciate, and really enjoy. So Luc really identified that. And I also love Daniel's comment here. So Daniel, for those who are familiar with the channel, Seldomly Often, you know that Dan and I have been doing some productions together. Actually, Dan was good enough to come across too. And his comment here is that it's an adult gourmand fragrance. And again, I go back to that beginning, which is it's not a dessert, it's not a sickly sweet, it's not sugary. If anything, it's a very well-balanced, beautifully refined gourmand with a woody aspect when it dries down. I love this fragrance. If you watch my video, that reaction is me, because every time I spray it, I do exactly that. I'm just like, oh man, I love this. I love the scent profile of it. And it does have those elements of the panettone bread. It does have those elements of that rum, because one thing that the Fragranze Milano fragrance, it doesn't have, there is a rum quality or a booziness in panettone. And this one here captures it so well. This is something that we worked really carefully with Luca, and Luca's delivered. It's just a gorgeous, beautiful fragrance to wear. But it is a fragrance, not a dessert gourmand thing. The next one, which is Pelle Viola, and I've got the actual bottle here. One thing I do need to point out is a lot of work has also gone into the actual bottle. So one thing that has been an advantage of doing the channel for the last 4 years is that both Kevin and I grabbed all the pieces that we love in other brands and we brought it together here. there was a great comment that came through on one of the episodes, which was, and I love this, and someone else wrote it, but it resonated so much with me that I want to share. And that was that Quentin Tarantino, learned to create movies by watching movies. And you can see that in the way that he instills different elements from things that he's seen in other films. And this person went on to write that we've created a brand based on things that we love, and we've brought it across. And that nailed it, because it is absolutely true. The ergonomic of this bottle, I mean, this was something that we took a lot of time to get, something that is beautiful to hold in your hand. I won't spray it, but the spray, the stream, the even distribution of fragrance, the mist-like quality, I mean, that was something that was important to Kevin. Both Kevin and I are very much into a beautiful cap. I'm not a huge fan of caps that are plastic and all that sort of thing. And I know that it doesn't mean anything, it doesn't contribute to the smell of the fragrance, but I just, as a tactile person, I love these elements. And this, I love this. This is a custom-made cap that we created. It has our logo on the top here. It has the OT inscribed, and the weight of this beautiful baby is gorgeous. It is magnetic. There's all these other elements that we love. So the last part is, and because I love photographing and videoing the bottles, this was another part that I added to the request, because Kevin did all the research when it comes to the bottle, is that this bottle is beautiful to film. It almost like captures light and throws it through the bottle itself. You put it on a shelf and it lights, we'll put it there. You can see it lights up. It's just, anyway. So yeah, from a tactile point of view, the bottle, everything else is really, you can tell I'm talking about my baby, can't you? All right, so Pelle Viola, I'm wearing it today. I love this fragrance. This one here was a lot easier to build when it comes to the concept of it. Both Kevin and I agreed that we needed a refined, elegant, sophisticated fragrance. For Kevin, Florence and the Duomo is an important part of his memory and history. First time in Europe, Florence was his landing place, and he has romantic feelings for Florence and for that city. For me, it was easy because I love all things leather. And I said in the video, I always buy something, and it's true. I can, from shoes to notebooks to coin holders, I'm always buying some kind of leather item from Florence, and I love the smell, and I love the actual leather that comes from Florence. The other part was iris, and it was super easy for me to incorporate these two elements, leather and iris, into this fragrance. And can I just say that LUCA MAFFEI has he's knocked it out of the park. This is such an elegant, sophisticated fragrance. Even if you don't like leather or leather perfumes, this is just so beautifully balanced between these two notes, because they can be, challenging notes. Iris can be a challenging note, the greenness, the powdery, the earthiness of that note. The leather can be robust and animalic and all those pieces. But here, the harmony that exists between these two notes, the way that the fragrance opens with that green cardamom and the ginger, the zing that it has, and then as it dries down, it has this beautiful, refined, sophisticated, it's a beautiful fragrance to suit up with. It's a fragrance that brings confidence. Fragrance I love wearing. I do find I get great presence and longevity out of it. I get at least 8-9 hours without a problem, and I find that its presence is quite defined and all around me. I mentioned before that even if you're not a fan of leather fragrances, this is one that is very approachable. Sandra, my wife, leather is not her thing, and yet this is a fragrance that she is enjoying wearing. So again, this is a going out fragrance that she loves to wear. Now, these are the comments from the beautiful people, both from Melbourne, and also, I call them the Romans because we all connected in Rome. So the Romans and the Melbournians, they wrote the following, and I've got it here. So Robin, who is, Robin and her husband Trent have a great channel here in Melbourne called Olfactive Melbourne. They're a podcast. We did do an interview with these guys pre us going on tour. They were integral as we journeyed through the creation of these fragrances. They were kind enough to invite us, both Kevin and I. So it's coming out this Friday, okay? So I'll tag down the bottom. I'll put all the links to that podcast so you can have a look at that. I think it goes for about an hour. It was an awesome, I mean, they were very generous with their time and the things that we were able to talk about. But if you want to know a lot more about the build and things of that nature, behind the scenes, have a look at that particular podcast. Anyway, Robin wrote that this particular comment, and I love that she's enjoying Iris, and I love that she likes the supple nature of the leather. And she too pointed out that this is a great fragrance to go out with. It's a sort of date night sort of thing. Daniel, again from Seldomly Often, wrote the suppleness of that leather and that it is a classy fragrance, and totally agree. And then Marcus. Now this one here, I love that Marcus originally mentioned that, so it's a luxurious fragrance, but for him it lasted 4 hours. And I remember when I read that, I thought, 4 hours. Because for me, I do get a lot of longevity out of it. However, he sent me another message, because I also asked everyone, send me the photos that you took, because we want to put that into the production. And he did write that, in fact, that the fragrance has great bones. It does last 8 hours, and it does. I've worn this a number of times. I've sprayed it this morning. I can still smell it very cleanly, even though I've got the other two fragrances on me. That iris, that leather, the suppleness of that sophistication of that leather is coming through beautifully. There you go. Boom, boom. All right, last one, Roma 271. For those who have missed this episode, please watch it. It's the funniest of the three. This one here took the longest. In this, if you haven't seen it, one point that both Kevin and I agreed on the very beginning, and that was between the two of us, one of us had to be the person who makes the final call. And the buck had to stop with someone, and that for greatness or for non-greatness, someone had to take full responsibility. I mean, in the end, I said it had to be Kevin because of his experience in the Oillataguerre store, and the fact that he was there thinking about a fragrance that needs to sell. So for me, I said, yeah, you make the final call. Now, this is where it got tricky, because the original fragrance that Kevin wanted was a gladiator, bold and citrus and, grunt and muscle kind of fragrance, because, the Colosseum and everything else. I had a hard time with this. I really, because I said earlier that I was going to release, the decision from me and give it to Kevin, I couldn't go back on my word. And also, it just gets confusing. Somebody has to be the person who makes the final call. I'm grateful that in the end, the fragrance won, because yes, I was sending him these videos and saying, look, Rome is more than just the Colosseum. There's so much mystery to this place. It is equal part dark and light. It's not just one tone. It's not just sweaty gladiators in the Colosseum. But in the end, the fragrance won, because, as he pointed out in this particular episode, Emily, his wife, is not one that is crazy about fragrance. She likes smells, but not like both Kevin and I. We're fanboys to the max, and it's the one that she's like, that's beautiful, that's absolutely beautiful. So in the end, the Roma 271, actually the scent profile, won the race for us. And I am so grateful. You have no idea how grateful I am, because this is a fragrance that I will walk over fire for, in full belief. This is something that is just an artistic masterpiece. LUCA really has extended himself in creating this beautiful piece here. And it is the one that gets the most love and feedback. The other two, so Dolce Milano is instant. The moment you spray, you're like, whoa, yes, please, sign me up. Pelle Viola, if you're a leather person, you instantly go, yeah, this is amazing. The beautiful balance between that iris and leather. If you're not an iris, sort of not a leather person, it's something that that it grows on you. Whereas Roma 271 on card, you're like, well, okay, yeah, it, it has some striking elements, but I tell everybody, you need to put it on skin. The moment you put it on skin, it absolutely accelerates. It becomes something just, it's just gorgeous. These are the comments coming through. So Trent writes, and honestly, I love that people have fallen in love with Roma 271. So Trent is unique and bold. It does take him to Rome. And so this is the joy of this olfactive traveling, what we wanted to create, this olfactive traveling in being able to smell something and feel that you're being transported to a place. Angela, another one. So this Angela has traveled to Rome many times, and the same thing for her. She's like, this takes me to Rome. So the elements there. Luke, who I absolutely love his comments here, he actually compared it to, and I'm going to do my best to say it correctly, The Brothers. It's a novel, and there are 3 protagonists. Luke is a super artistic man, and he broke the 3 protagonists when it comes to the fragrances as each of the brothers. And he writes that this one here is this brother. I'm not even going to, I haven't read the book, so I can't pretend to know what the whole story is about. He mentions that he does love the interplay with that coffee and citrus note on the beginning, and then the darkness with a touch of amber in the base of the patchouli, the incense, and a little bit of vanilla. The balance here is divine, absolute divine. I also love Elias. This, and here's his comment, this is his boss fragrance. This is something that just, it's a fortitude, a strength. There is a certain, the balance here is perfect. That's the best way I can define it. And it is, the coffee is aromatic and inviting, but vibrant and strong, dark, and there's energy there, the slight citrus, blood orange, as I mentioned, as it dries down, the touch of incense that's there, but within that vanilla and the amber, just magic. Gorgeous fragrance, and these are my babies. I'm super happy, I'm super proud. I'm so grateful for Luca's hard work, because again, it's only because of Luca's artistry that we're able to be in this place. Now, actually, I forgot to mention, so with Pelle Viola, let me answer this question. This is another question I get asked. We did use the iris blue, sorry, the iris from the AFM farm, iris blue in Florence, in Firenze. Actually, why I hesitated, we want to film there next year. So right now, I am doing my, what's that word? The projecting forward, the manifesting. That will be in May in Florence, filming at the Iris Blue Farm. That's when they're doing the cultivating, and I would love to be on that plot. I would love to show that to you. I've seen photos, it looks gorgeous. The iris will be in full bloom. We'll be able to see the actual rhizomes and just see the whole process. It's something that I've already mentioned to LUCA MAFFEI about, and he's like, sure, come over. I mean, it's easy for him because everything's easy and accessible. In Italy, for us, 26 hours travel time, so it's a little bit further out. But I would love to be there and show you guys how beautiful this farm is, or in first person. Now, we will be certifying that the iris blue, or sorry, the iris is coming from that farm, as we've mentioned. For 2025, we only had access to 500 bottles. Now, we have to wait until the new harvest in 2026 to see, because obviously Luca has been promoting his iris to other brands, and he has mentioned that he will put some aside for us. So it could be that we only get access to another 500 bottles for the 2026 harvest, but I won't know that until next year, okay? But for 2025, we only have 500. We will hand certify this, and you will receive this particular card in your box, so every order. Now, I can't validate what number you're going to get, just to give you a heads up. There is a third-party distribution center that we're using, so we basically, all the stock, well, they have all the stock, they'll pick and send, so I don't know what number you're going to get. I can't validate that, okay, so just give you a heads up. But every Pelle Viola, until it's sold out, will have a validation of between 1 to 500. Boom. Tic-tac-toe. All right, last part is, what's my time? I'm gonna stop because this thing's gonna pop. I'll be right back. And back. All right, so the last thing that I'd like to talk about is the traveler set, the OT traveler set. Now, I would love to take credit for this, but this is all Kevin. So Kevin had a very clear vision of what the Discovery set was going to be. Me, I just wanted to cut through quickly. It's like, just get to the point. Well, not get to the point, but just deliver something functional, basically. I was happy to do the 2 mil in a nice box, but they're all 2 mils. And Kevin was like, he was not having any of that. Even to the point I'd say, bro, you're overcomplicating this. You're making this bigger than what it needs to be. But he was like, nope. This is our calling card, essentially. This represents the brand, and I have to, again, all credit to the man. He just knocked this out of the park. 100% leather. It is hand stitched. The Olfactive Traveler is embossed. I mean, the tactile nature of this whole unit is gorgeous, and I love, as I mentioned earlier, all things leather and leather products. The fact that it's an 8 mil travel set, the way the finish on the bottles, just everything about it is just perfect. It's just a beautiful design. Even the interior has like a suede-y sort of velvety touch to it. As I said, from a tactile nature, it's gorgeous. I love the leather itself in that it does have a beautiful patina. I used this as not this one, but I had my own, which is the one I use for traveling, and the little scuff marks on it. I love that sort of stuff. It begins to develop character, and that's what I love about a beautiful leather product. Now, what am I trying to say? Okay, so now when we show this to people, the first thing, and then they're like, oh wow, this is beautiful and hand stitched, and it feels great. And then we say, yeah, it's $160 Aussie, and they're like, why so cheap? What's going on? So we've done it on purpose. The reason for that is that we wanted to make a discovery set, essentially, that was going to entice people to test out the brand. But then you have something that is, rather than these little 2 mil things that, what do you do with it? You have a million collection of those. Once you finish with your fragrance, you can actually put your pens here. As some people may know, I'm a bit of a pen nerd. Here's my beautiful Mont Blanc that I have, and it fits. Look at that. Bob, forget about it. So that's the next thing if you want to nerd up on stuff, beautiful pens, is the way to go. So the idea behind it is that this now becomes more than just the chance to discover the fragrance. It is that, but it also becomes an item that you can take with you and enjoy. You can even place other fragrances in there. I mean, obviously I want you to put in just Olfactive Traveler, but if it were to run out, you could use this as your travel case rather than taking a full bottle of perfume when you travel around. The beauty of this is that we want you all, so it was basically, we want to support the community. So rather than, this should be priced at a much higher price point. The intention is that this becomes our sampling program, essentially. We get a chance to make it accessible for everyone, have a beautiful item that you guys can own, and now have a chance to experience all 3 fragrances. There is a DNA that runs through them. And again, by you experiencing them here, you'll see how all 3 interplay with each other. Anyway, boom. That's the traveler set, something we're super proud of and excited to share with everyone. Now, 10/10. So there is a special offer that's going to be available. On Friday, the 10th of October, the website will go live. The time that we've allocated is 9 p.m. Melbourne Eastern Time. And these are the times across the world. So I know that in the US, you guys will still be in some places still asleep. However, the offer will go for 10 days, okay? But the 9 p.m. is when we will open the gates. And hopefully you guys can join us for that. Now, the offer that we're doing, and you do need to sign up for it, so it's not an automatic thing, you will need a code. So if you jump on our website and log in your details, you will get an email from us with that code. That will give you free delivery across the world. So that's accessible. And then whenever you buy a bottle, so there's a gift with purchase, so buy a bottle of perfume and you'll receive the Olfactive Traveler set as a complimentary gift, okay? It is one per person, so if you were to buy all 3 of the fragrances, you'll still receive just the one, okay? So just a heads up on that. But even if you were to buy just the one, you will get this as a free gift. That's it. Okay, the last thing is that we will be doing a live. There will be a YouTube live that we'll set up. Kevin and I, we want to take that as an opportunity to answer questions or anything of that nature. There isn't, as I mentioned, there are a number of people who have already had a chance to experience the fragrances. So if you guys can be on in that way, it's not just us saying that the fragrances are great, but also you guys can share your experiences. That would be awesome. That will happen on Saturday, the 18th of October. And we are also considering to go live at 9 p.m. Melbourne Eastern Standard Time, so it becomes, or maybe even be 10 p.m. I think we put 10 anyway. I'll announce it further down, but the 18th of October has been set apart for that. That is it. If you've got any questions for me, please ask me. I will answer as best as I can. Not as best as I can. I will answer your questions so that if you've got any as I said, some of the questions are, can I select my number? The short answer is no. We don't know what those numbers are. But if you've got any other questions, just put them in the comments. I will do my absolute best to answer those for you. Boom. And we begin. Would you believe I landed? So today is Tuesday. We arrived at 6 p.m. on Sunday. I was here in the office on Monday morning. I'm a little bit jet lagged, so I'm doing my best to keep up and keep moving because, yeah, we've got the launch coming on and there's a million other things happening, but it's all good. It's all exciting. And I am looking forward to taking or bringing OT, Olfactive Traveler, to the world and, yeah, putting it out there. It's pretty exciting. That's it. Look forward to your comments, and we'll see you guys all on the next Monte Talk. Bye, everyone.